Hi everyone, welcome to 5 Fast Facts with Jigsaw. I'm your host, Caroline Hill, and I'm joined by Travis Leon, who is the co-founder and CEO of Jigsaw. Hi Travis.
Hi Caroline, lovely to see you.
Lovely to have you here. So for those of you who aren't familiar with 5 Fast Facts, in a very short period of time, aka maybe 5 minutes, we'll come away knowing some facts that we didn't know about Jigsaw, perhaps some slightly unusual facts as well. I'm going to give you a very brief introduction because some of these facts are going to come out as we speak. But Jigsaw was founded in 2020 by former investment funds lawyer Stephen Scanlon and by Travis, who is co-founder and CEO, as I said, and he's a former Magic Circle lawyer turned banker. So lawyers have traditionally used Jigsaw to help them visualize transactions and corporate entities, but they can also now use it as a visual project management tool. So the likes of litigators can keep track of court dates. And then a year ago, they launched their AI assistant called Jigbot. So Travis, I'm going to ask you, tell me about the genesis of Jigsaw.
It actually goes way back a lot longer than people might have realized. Although we started the company in 2020, we started our very first company, XREF, in around 2010. And whilst we were discussing ideas and we went down the XREF route, which was an automated proofreading tool, now called Contract Companion, thank you to those who are still using it. But we discussed the idea for Jigsaw back then. And we ended up going with the proofreading tool instead of a visualization tool, instead of a replacement for PowerPoint. We were both fed up with PowerPoint, Stephen and I, and we did discuss it, but we went with what we thought was easier low-hanging fruit in terms of a proofreading tool. We then exited XREF. We went on to look for our next project, and it's while we were discussing new ideas, we revisited the issue that PowerPoint was still being used to create diagrams, structure charts, steps papers. We couldn't believe that this problem still existed and no one had solved it. And that's when we knew we had to do something about it. And that's how Jigsaw came about.
That's when Jigsaw was born. Is there anything that people might be surprised to learn about the company?
Let's see, anything that they'd be surprised to learn about Jigsaw. I don't know if they would be that surprised, but we have a large proportion of ex-practicing lawyers from all the top firms that have maybe decided they wanted a new path, maybe got a bit fed up with some of the pains of working in PowerPoint or proofreading and decided to try something new. We have tons of them across our company, from our operations team. We have lawyers who've turned into developers. We have some in our sales team. Of course, Stephen and I used to both be lawyers, but across the board in our product support team, our adoption teams, like we have lawyers everywhere. So very, very lawyer focused company.
What about the domain name?
The domain name about Jigsaw itself. That was quite funny in that Jigsaw, the original domain name and the website that the web domain that we use was originally for another company idea that Stephen and I were talking about, which was completely unrelated to legal technology. It was actually, we were talking about a company kind of like those little Apple trackers where you could, like, if you lose your keys or you have it in your handbag in case you misplace it. Before that came about, Steve and I talked about creating something similar. And we went quite far down the route of sussing out how much it would cost to create. We had some people designing it for us. And for whatever reason, we thought Jigsaw was a nice name for that. We didn't go down that path for exactly the reason we now see is Apple have created something. We suspected Apple or Google might come up with something, and we didn't want to be coming up against them. So we're like, maybe that's a dangerous play to go after. When we revisited Jigsaw, the idea for Jigsaw, we were like, actually, the domain name fits much more nicely into what we were actually trying to help with in terms of putting these pieces together of a transaction or of a deal and trying to visualize those, kind of like a jigsaw puzzle. It seemed like it was almost fate.
It does. It is. It's quite incredible. How did you land on the name Jigbot?
Jigbot for our AI assistant. Simply, really, all of the good names were taken. All the names you can imagine are being used for some kind of AI assistant of sorts. You have Harvey, I've seen Fred, Humperdinck. There's like all kinds of random names out there, all trying to represent these different AI assistants or AI agents. And so we started joking, maybe we go old school and call it kind of what it is. It's like a jigsaw bot, and Jigbot kind of stuck. And actually, we realized it does what it says on the tin. It's easy for people to understand what it's there for. Sometimes it's quite easy to get lost amongst all these names, is whether you're dealing with a person, some AI, the founder of a company. It gets quite confusing. So Jigbot's kind of stuck around actually for the moment. Unless anyone has any better ideas, please feel free to send your answers our way.
It's quite an obvious one, I suppose, but I quite like the fact that it's gender neutral, to be honest. So tell us about the product. Tell us something perhaps you're most proud of about the product.
About Jigsaw. Something I think I'm really proud of is, I mean, it happens on a regular basis, but when we genuinely have partners reaching out proactively without any instigation on our part, telling us that we have I mean, they're not saying we've changed their lives, but they're saying we've made their lives so much better. They thank us, or they often thank the people within their organization. So the knowledge managers, the innovation teams, or the CIOs, they thank them for bringing Jigsaw in because it's made their life so much easier. It's made their work more enjoyable. It's made their clients happier. And then some of them even share stories of the fact they're just able to spend more time with their family because they're not messing around in PowerPoint for hours on end. It's kind of nice to feel that we're not changing the world, but making a little bit of a difference in people's lives is something maybe you don't really think too much about when you start a company like this. You think about solving a problem, but when you see the impact it has on real people, I mean, you can't help but be rewarded by that.
So you mentioned, so obviously you founded XREF. You have got the benefit of hindsight. So tell me, lastly, in your 5 facts, we haven't quite stuck to 5 minutes, but we're not far off. What's one of the benefits, or perhaps one of the things that's different about being a second-time founder?
I would say, first and foremost, we've been able to focus on Jigsaw and come at it from a place of let's create an amazing product that really helps people and really kind of starts to change the way lawyers are doing something. And our energy and our focus is on that, as opposed to with a first company when quit being a lawyer, didn't really have any income, didn't necessarily have any prospects. It was XREF or nothing. There was a lot of emotion and can't help but there's some anxiety there. You can't really fully focus on the task at hand because you've got all these competing emotional demands out there. Like it's a scary place when you're a first time founder. This time round, we can focus on the business, and the reality is it's actually fun. We can enjoy this. I'm enjoying the ride. I'm soaking up every moment. I mean, I don't know how long it will last, how many more years we're going to keep going, but I'm trying to enjoy every moment that I can. And I don't think we had the ability to do that with the first time round with our first company. So it's a very nice position to be in.
Very different position to be in, and I've known you all that time, so it's great to see you going from strength to strength. So that is our 5 fast facts. I hope people watching found it interesting. Thank you, Travis, for being part of it, and it's great to learn some more about you and Jigsaw.
Oh, thank you, Caroline. It's been a pleasure being here.